What's up, y'all? Welcome back. 80 Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about creatine, why it's the most important supplement, what it does, how it works, etc., etc. Before we get started, if you hear something weird, we got a sick dog.
Yeah, our little baby, Frederick's not feeling the best.
So we're letting him join us this morning. Just realize you might have some whimpering or some throwing up noises going on.
Poor baby.
The little man ain't feeling so well.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about creatine, unlocking that superhuman strength and growth. It really has the power to give you that explosive edge in the gym. So we're going to talk a little bit today about creatine, what it is. I mean, most of you know by now, creatine is a naturally occurring compound found within our own body, within our muscles.
It's amino acid.
Yep. And it plays a very crucial role in energy production, which if you are hitting the weights hard and you are just giving it everything you got, you need that energy production to assist.
100%. Why wouldn't you want any? I mean, take any help you can get, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, I like to think about energy in the body and how it creates energy, which is ATP. You don't really need to know much about ATP.
We can nerd this up pretty deeply, but we're not going to.
Right. So all you need to know is ATP is the body's primary energy currency, we'll call it, in the cells, right? So during intense exercises like weightlifting, deadlifting, all those kind of things, your body is in demand for that ATP, that energy, currency. In fact, it skyrockets all the way up. So you really want to have the building blocks of creatine available to create more of that, so you can keep hitting that explosive workout.
Let me dumb it down a little bit. ATP breaks down to creatine phosphate. This is what fires your muscles. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
You're going to get stronger, faster, and more muscle firing if you use creatine as opposed to not using creatine.
Absolutely. So I like to think of creatine like, that turbocharger for your cells and energy sources, right? So if you're going to push harder and lift heavier and perform better in those high intensity workouts, you're going to need more available creatine in your body.
You need to turbocharge.
Yep, we need that turbocharger, y'all.
That's funny. I do have a friend that's a mechanic who related creatine literally to a turbocharger. That's how he understood it. And if you're a car guy, you know how a turbocharge works. That's how creatine works in your muscles.
Absolutely. And, I would say out of all of the supplements that are out there, y'all, creatine is the most widely studied supplement there is. It has been, for decades. There was a study published by, the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition, and it really just went through creatine monohydrate specifically, and it just found that just taking that, 5 to 25 grams a day of creatine really helped with muscle building and strength.
Yeah.
And, if you look at all of the studies throughout all of time, on average, they positively show a 5 to 10% increase in strength and size when you're using creatine.
She hit it, y'all. It's the #1 studied supplement. They have yet to come up with a negative side effect. It's been studied for 20 plus years now. There hasn't been a negative side effect come out yet. And across the board, you're looking at 5 to 10% increase in muscle size and strength consistently for 20 plus years, y'all. Come on now. There ain't a supplement out there that can say that.
I mean, that's the average, right? So you think about a person right off the couch that starts creatine supplementation.
They way above that.
Yeah, they might be seeing 40, 60% increase in muscle strength and size. But on average, all of the studies, 5 to 10%. And you may not think 5 to 10% is a lot, but when you were talking about a competitive athlete, the difference between first and second place is so minute.
It's 0.005, not 5%.
Right. So, getting that 5 to 10% advantage is huge. It's huge, y'all. So let's talk a little bit more about what creatine does in the body. So I would say one of the #1 things that people will notice pretty much immediately is just this increase in cell volume. So the creatine will pull more water into your muscle cells, and this causes them to swell, and they become tighter and have a more fuller appearance.
Your scale is going to go up. Don't panic. It should go up a couple pounds because, like Camille just said, it's putting water into your muscle cells. It's going to make them swell bigger. You actually look more muscular when you take creatine because the water is going into your muscle cells as opposed to your skin cells, which make you look smooth and fat.
Right.
So you actually look, even though the scale goes up, you look a little more cut up than when you weren't taking creatine.
Right. Another thing down kind of on a more hormonal level, creatine elevates your insulin-like growth factor, number 1 in particular, which really, if we're talking muscle growth, that's incredible that it's helping you build more muscle down on a hormonal level.
Yeah, it helps with protein synthesis as well. So it's helping on the back end with recovery as well as on the front end with energy and strength.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about long-term, making gains, you definitely need help on the recovery side so you can keep hitting those workouts. And I've trained athletes at the same time where one's taking creatine and one's not. And the one that's not stays sore for longer. So we might train legs and it'll be like day 4 or 5 and they're still feeling those legs. Whereas the other person that took creatine, they feel it for maybe 2 days, 3 at the max, but then they're ready to hit that leg workout again.
Yep. Helps with protein synthesis, was going to help you with recovery, y'all.
Yeah.
That's a great stuff. I can't say enough good stuff about this. And we brought it up earlier, creatine monohydrate. It's the cheap one. It's been studied over and over and over and over. Stay with creatine monohydrate. All the studies coming back, so there's no benefit to taking effervescent creatine. There's no benefits to taking pill creatine, creatine broken down, got an extra cell on, none. None of them beat the regular old cheap $10 creatine monohydrate. So there's no need to get fancy with it at all. Right. Just stick with the creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, and lastly, there's a huge advantage in terms of performance enhancement. I mean, we're talking about being able to complete your reps, your sets, lift heavier weights, and just make it through those intense training sessions. Because like we said, it's the turbocharger. When your body is placing more demand on it for energy, you have more creatine floating around to build that energy source. So it really does make a difference.
And it is anaerobic energy. It is not aerobic energy. Creatine is not going to help you run a marathon, y'all. This is strictly weightlifting and explosive movements where your ATP comes in and your creatine phosphate comes in. You use other pathways when you're running a marathon.
Right. All right. So who benefits the most from creatine?
Any athlete.
Yeah, I would say athletes, bodybuilders, any fitness enthusiast that's doing weightlifting in the gym.
Any sport has explosive movements.
Right.
I don't care if you're playing croquet. There's explosive movement in there somewhere. So any athlete playing any sport would benefit.
Yeah. I mean, in addition to that, I would also say that anyone that's vegan or a vegetarian benefits a lot from creatine supplementation because, the primary, naturally occurring source for creatine is through eating meat. Yeah. But unfortunately, there's no way you could eat enough red meat to get a true, a large enough dose to get the energy you need for what we're talking about.
We did figure that out.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but I mean, you'd be eating steaks all day long or something, still not hit that.
8 pounds of red meat.
I wouldn't be healthy for you. Nothing.
So this is why you have to supplement.
Right.
Not only do you not want to eat 8 pounds of red meat, you're not going to.
I mean, since we are talking about the diet, I mean, even with creatine supplementation, you're still going to want to eat a balanced diet, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
I mean, a balanced diet ensures that you've got the adequate supply of essential nutrients like amino acids and carbohydrates. And these are really important in terms of supporting creatine uptake and utilization in the muscle cells.
Right. You can take creatine all day. If you're not getting in enough protein, you're not going to recover.
Right.
The recovery is the protein, the building blocks. Yes, creatine will help, But if all you're taking is creatine and you got 0 protein for the day, guess what? You fat.
I mean, also you want to control those insulin levels. So you don't want to be spiking them all the time, or, you know, the inverse, because insulin helps facilitate the pushing of nutrients and the transportation of creatine.
Yes.
So we want a really healthy insulin response, which you're going to get through eating a balanced diet.
Sure. And what we say creatine does, it puts water into your muscle cells. What happens if you're not drinking water?
You're dehydrated.
You're not going to put the water into
There's
the
no
muscle
water
cells.
to put in there.
So again, make sure you get that balanced diet. Everybody knows you should be drinking a gallon of water a day.
Right.
You cover the gallon of water a day, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, and just energy metabolism, you know, you got to produce energy, which means you have to be eating. So it plays a factor in there too. You can't have, you know, be malnutrited and, you know, and still expect to have muscle growth and, you know, strength impact. So
Right. Let's back up for a second. If you're deficient anywhere, no supplement's going to work.
Right.
No supplement's going to fill that gap if you're deficient. So like Mike Menser said, get your nutritional needs. You're not deficient anywhere. Then you can start building on the supplements.
Yeah. In fact, you know, Mike Mentor always says, like, as a society, we're overnourished. So it's usually not a problem. But
right. And if you watch Mike and listen to Mike, he was around when creatine first came out. And man, he was excited.
I love hearing that Mike Mentor story. He literally is like, hey, I was coming back. Was it from an injury or something? And, you know, the supplement company was trying to sell me on it. And I was like, why not? I'll try it. And then he just like totally wasn't a believer. And then he was just like, whoa.
One workout.
And
Menser was sold on creatine.
Yeah. Let's talk about dosing and timing there.
So to me, keep this simple, y'all. You don't need to load. You don't need to cycle off. You don't need to do anything but take 5 grams every single day of your life. As long as you're taking 5 grams minimum, you can take more than that if you like. You don't need to.
Right.
But as long as you're getting 5 grams a day in every single day, you're covered.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's really no need to cycle off. Like we said, it's the most #1 studied supplement there is. There's been no adverse, you know, side effects found on the liver, on the kidneys.
Nothing.
So, I mean, you do want to make sure you're healthy. I think anytime you're trying a new supplement, consult with your physician, make sure there's nothing underlying going on. But you should definitely be good.
Good question. Not yet. I have not tried that yet. Commando Slayer asked if we use a squat wedge for landmine rows.
You know, not for landmine rows, but I did do it the other day with landmine squats.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were doing like front squat, and we had the squat wedge with the landmine. But that would be an interesting approach there.
Yeah, that was a comment, and he's following up. Appreciate that. Believe me, next time I do the landmine rows, I'm getting that wedge out.
And anytime we set that up, it's like landmine day. Like all of us and all of the clients will do landmine because it's such a pain to set up. So yeah, that'd be fun. We should do that. We should have landmine day.
It's happening, Commando Slayer. Appreciate the reminder. It's definitely going to happen. Matter of fact, we're probably going to film a short.
There you go. There you go. Okay, well, if there's not any other questions on creatine, just remember, you know, if you're looking to turbocharge that workout, get through those grueling, nasty sets and have that energy, you definitely want to supplement with some creatine, different brands. You know, me and James really like Optimum Nutrition. It's our #1 brand. We've tried a lot, and sometimes they can be kind of gritty and nasty in whatever you're mixing. This mixes well.
Yep.
So other than that, you know, no suggestions for you. Just try different brands, see what you like.
And stick to the monohydrate. They have
Right.
all, I mean, there's a
Micronized.
million different kinds of creatine out there. All you need is creatine monohydrate. And I want to back up to the beginning. No other supplement has been studied for 20 plus years like creatine has. No other supplement has come back study after study after study with positive effects and no negative effects. I mean, you're going to have cases out there where somebody's allergic, of course. They're 1 in a million. So if you're allergic to creatine, obviously you're not going to take it. It's going to have adverse effects. But for 99.9% of the population, Creatine is effective and safe, and you should absolutely 100% be
Right.
using it. And if you get the creatine monohydrate, it's cheap, y'all. I
Right.
think this thing is $12,
Yeah.
and it lasts Camille and I months, 4 months. You know, you're taking 5 grams out of this, which is a tiny
Right.
spoon, and mixing it in and drinking it. So it's
Absolutely.
a cheap supplement, and it works.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are competitive bodybuilders, there's no doubt in my mind you need to be taking creatine, because that 5 to 10% can be the difference between first and second place.
And
It's not worth it.
Yeah. And if you're a competitive bodybuilder and think your competition isn't taking creatine, you're dead wrong.
Right.
I can tell you right now, they're taking creatine, y'all. Oh,
Absolutely.
don't think for 1 second they're not. It's too easy and too cheap. I mean, every physique, anybody should be taking it. Really.
Absolutely.
It's too easy and too cheap, man.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. This channel is for you guys. So as you have questions or topics that you would like to learn more about, drop us a line and we would be happy to film something for you or talk about it live.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for the reminder, Commando Slayer. We're definitely going to get on that, brother. As soon as I get a chance, we're going to do that.
Landline day.
And we're going to film it now just to put the short up there to show it. And
Yep.
I'm going to see if I like it or not. He suggests we use it.
Yeah,
so
that's
we can feel
cool.
it more. So I'm going to do it and see if I like it more or not as well.
Fantastic. And just as a reminder, we are going to be out of town next week. James and I are going to go celebrate our second wedding anniversary.
Hey.
So we won't catch you on live, but definitely we'll stay engaged on the community page, drop you guys some updates and some photos.
We'll answer comments.
Yeah.
We'll stay engaged. We just aren't going live next week, y'all.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, y'all.
Get your creatine in.
Get your creatine in.